All right. Well, welcome everybody, and welcome to this episode of FinServ Tech Oracles. I'm Johna Johnson, and I'm here with my oracular colleague, Jerry Murphy, and we are sharing our thoughts on technology for financial services firms. And for this episode, Jerry, you wanted to talk about whether AI is going after your FinServ Tech jobs. So, want to talk about why you're thinking that and why you're even posing that question?
Well, we recently did some research, as we always do, and our research recently showed that FinServ folks are twice as likely as all other organizations. That is, now twice likely, it's still 28% versus 14%, but they're twice likely to anticipate that AI results in a reduction of headcount. At the same time, they also thought that IT use of AI was actually going to grow dramatically. So while 28% is still pretty small, it's a significant difference than other people. So our research shows that there are a significant chunk of people that think that might be the case.
Well, but at the same time, you were saying that FinServ folks are saying that the team size is expanding from 16 today within IT to 200 by the end of next year. That was
Yeah.
their anticipated growth in people managing AI. So even with this growth in the people managing AI, they're more likely than other companies to say that AI will result in a reduction of headcount. Why do you think they're more likely than other
Well,
companies?
I think there are things that AI can do in financial services that are actually legitimately helpful. So, for example, uh, we know that there's a constant problem with anti-money laundering, people trying to take money fraudulently and then launder it overseas and that kind of thing. And if you think about the constant changing of blacklists and whitelists and names and aliases that are involved in that whole environment, AI would actually be really, really good at munging through all of the data that's out there financially, any changes that are happening to regulatory rules, and applying those rules to these name sets and doing them. So I think for those kind of use cases, there actually is an opportunity for AI to really significantly help financial services with those kinds of things.
So you're saying that AI can be very useful in a regulatory compliance role,
Yes.
kind of replacing the teams of people that are pouring through the regulations and pouring through compliance and trying to determine whether the organization is compliant. That
Right.
makes sense. And I know we both agree that obviously for customer service, having chatbots can be helpful, but pretty much any organization with customer service is using chatbots at this point.
Right.
Any other reasons that you can see that financial services firms are going to be more likely than most to predict a loss in headcount?
Well, I think financial services firms are historically very client centric.
Hmm.
And so I think that they tend to have a lot of jobs that other people have already replaced by some AI functions that the financial services have historically tended to keep in house. So I think when you just look at the natural progression of things that be done more efficiently, especially with a lot of the machine learning and automation types of things, I think financial services have been actually more laggards than the rest of the industry in going to automate some of those functions that a lot of other people have already automated.
Yeah, I mean, financial services tend to have the attitude of throw people at it whenever
Right.
there's a problem. And I think there's always a chance to use whatever technology comes along as a way to rationalize the head count. So I think there's always that. Um, and I know that working with the Wall Street Technology Association, one of the things that they talked about quite a bit at our recent AI conference was the fact that there are all sorts of new roles around AI that they're also hiring for. So I think the net reduction may be getting rid of people who are not necessarily as comfortable working with AI and bringing on board people who can be prompt engineers and ethnographic researchers and all these new job categories that now exist because of AI.
Right. And the good
Uh,
news for
mhm.
that is that I think there's a lot of opportunities for IT people to actually have, that AI can actually create more jobs along the line that you just said. The good news is there are going to be higher level jobs because nobody, especially financial services, are going to let AI run on its own in the wild. There's still going to have to be governance, but as we have different segments of AI that are going to be utilized, that's actually more opportunities for people becoming specialists in governing what AI is doing in these different areas. Of course, the challenge is now you're going to have to get training, and while you're going to be more valuable, that means you're going to need more training to do those things that require more sophistication on the end user's part.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's interesting is a lot of the jobs and roles are gonna be outside of AI because AI wrangling is there's AI governance, there's AI infrastructure, which is potentially arguably an IT function,
Yeah,
but there's also AI wrangling, which is where, the prompt engineers and the ethnographic researchers come in, and that typically happens within the line of business. So one thing IT will probably need to do is get very comfortable supporting a new class of AI wranglers that are not within IT, but are outside of IT.
that actually makes a great point, Donna. And our research clearly shows that the growth in the use of AI, and this is across all industries, is really much more happening in the lines of business than it is directly in IT. So, um, again, there's going to be a lot of jobs there, but the fact that there's going to be a bunch of AI use in the lines of business means, in my mind, the people that are in IT have to be a lot more proactive, reaching out to the businesses, seeing how they're using them, to then ask, hey, what are the impacts of all these business case uses that are going to then directly impact IT infrastructure?
Well, so that said, what do you recommend?
Well, I think the things you need to do, everybody realizes that AI is not going away. You're going to have to embrace it. But in it coming and embracing it, use the opportunity of it coming to train your people, have more value added skills. And then the last thing I would say is start with routine areas that are easy to use and then cautiously move to more sophisticated AI uses, because it's still going to be a while before the more esoteric use of AI are going to be risk free. And honestly, I don't know if they'll ever be risk free.
Well, no, the risk never goes to zero. It just goes to tolerable for a particular organization. So, okay, Jerry, it sounds like your top takeaways are number one, consider AI as an app. Consider a top AI application in FinServ to be compliance and regulatory support. Um, Even if you think you're going to be reducing headcount overall, it sounds like you should also be planning on new headcount in AI wrangling to come up, and basically take it step by step. Don't jump in whole hog. Start with automating routine functions and then move on to more sophisticated ones. Did I capture that correctly?
You got it.
Okay, well, that's it for us until next week. Thank you for watching and listening. You can register for the entire series online. Please do. Just go ahead and click the link next to this in Bright Talk. And tune in next week at 0900 for the next episode of FinServ Tech Oracles, which is right before the markets open on Tuesdays.
See y'all then.